Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Mi, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. In today's video, we're going to take a little bit of time commenting on the early leaks for Chapter 1048 and all the events and possible events that could be occurring in our very next chapter. Before we get into that early intel, if you're new to the channel, we'd be absolutely honored if you consider leaving us a like or even subscribing with a comment letting us know what you thought. It may be a small thing for you, but it is a really big motivation for us to keep making new content. And if you'd like to help out the channel even more, consider sharing the video with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So friends, the fight between Luffy and Kaido is coming to a close, and we might see the fall of another Yonko, showing that the era of the old emperors may be very well coming to an end. This may also open up a possibility that the next Yonko that could be defeated by some mysterious character will be Shanks, so in a future story we could see a bigger focus on this mysterious character. Since Kaido's defeat might be really close, this chapter will probably focus only on things that are connected to the main fight between Luffy and Kaido, because we gotta know that the chapter where Kaido's defeat happens is gonna be an epic chapter. But from the information we've gotten on early leaks for 1048, it seems like there might be a greater focus on the secondary events taking place in Onigashima, so we might just see it take a little bit longer than expected to resolve our fight between Luffy and Kaido. In the cover story of chapter 1046 of One Piece, we see two mysterious figures invading Chocolate Town, and we also see several citizens who start running for shelter, but so far we had no information on who these two people were coming into Big Mom's land. But in the leaks of chapter 1048, it seems that it's going to be revealed that these two people who are causing fear in Chocolate Town are Ichiji and Raiju. Now we don't know the real reasons why they're there, but we could probably speculate. Of course, as we know, during Whole Cake, the entire Vinsmoke family was betrayed by the Charlotte family, so they're now enemies, and so for this reason, the citizens of Chocolate Town would be very scared of running from these siblings of the Vinsmokes. So there are probably two possibilities why they're there. The first is that they're after Charlotte Pudding, because during the Whole Cake arc, she became the ally of the Straw Hats, because they saw her helping them make an escape from the island, and she showed a certain affection for Sanji and decided to help them. It may be that the two siblings are there to help her or maybe pass on some information. There's also the possibility that they're just there to lay the place to waste. I mean, after all, Big Mom and some of her children are in Wano, but if they were going to go for that purpose, it would be that they needed the other smokes to be in other places to cover the larger ground. Because if you think of it, even despite their power, Ichiji and Raiju alone wouldn't be able to defeat the entire Charlotte family. After all, Katakuri is still at Whole Cake defending the castle, so there's very unlikely nature that they're gonna take him down. In addition to that, with all the rest of the Charlotte family protecting the castle as well, it would really be necessary for the whole Vinsmoke family to be together to be able to win the victory and recover what was taken from them. It's also been shared that in this chapter we'll have a small flashback, but most likely this flashback is not related to our cover story. After all, that's all it is, and we may get more information in the weeks to come. So leaving the Vinsmoke Whole Cake kind of conflict that's going on, this flashback may be actually related to Momonosuke. After all, where we left off in 1047, we saw that Momo was being pressured by Luffy, and he was basically telling Momo to move the island because he was going to bring down a big attack on top of Kaido, and if Momo didn't move Onigashima, there would be large consequences with everybody inside the island as well as below. So the flashback could involve Momo trying to remember how Kaido used his powers to create the flame clouds. So perhaps by working through this flashback, Momo will finally get the ability to move Onigashima, because Luffy is going to be looking to go all out. He's been kind of holding back and had even related in the previous chapter that he really needed to let everything go to take Kaido down. And if this happens and Momo doesn't move Onigashima, there's going to be a huge collision and everybody below is in danger. So it's really been up to Yamato and Luffy, who have been cheering on Momo to make these flame clouds, and hopefully we'll actually see this start to happen. And once Momo's able to move the island, this means that Luffy and Kaido's fight could go with no interference or threats of doing collateral damage. And then, and finally then, Luffy can do his utmost to bring Kaido and just take him down, just as Law and Kid did with Big Mom and decreeing the Yonko's defeat. Now of course we don't know if Momo's flame clouds are going to be as strong as Kaido's, because he's still working out his power, but he could end up surprising us, and there could be some kind of motivation or something that comes out to just bring out Momo's best, where he can finally return all of his allies and Onigashima itself safely to the mainland. Continuing with other leaks, we are also informed that there is a further scene in the confrontation between Hiyori and Orochi, where Orochi is still going after Hiyori and aiming to take her life, wishing that Oden could watch so that he can eliminate another important person for Oden. However, in this attempt to take Hiyori's life, an ally appears to save her, for in the state that she was in, she was completely helpless and shocked, thinking that she had Orochi pinned, and wasn't able to do anything to defend herself. Also, from what we've gathered, Hiyori may not have ever really been trained to fight, and since she doesn't have any special powers or any devil fruit, she was only able to confront Orochi once she had the nails in him to nullify the powers of his devil fruit. But in an interesting twist of fate, it ended up being Kanjuro's flames that ended up freeing Orochi's body from the nails that were keeping him from transforming. But since these supernatural flames are still on Orochi's body, this could also mean that we will also see him defeated and finally brought down, even as he tries to take Hiyori's life along with his own. So in this clutch moment, it ends up being Denjiro who ends up going in to save Hiyori. And when he arrives, Orochi and Hiyori are ended up confronting each other, and apparently there's a battle that ensues between Orochi and Denjiro. As the leak continues, it ends up resulting in Orochi's head being cut off by the swordsman. But it's not known if Orochi finally loses his life this time, as we've already seen many heads cut off in the past, and Orochi still manages to come back again. As we also know, Orochi's powers are based on a Hydra, where if one head is cut off, another one grows back in its place. And this kind of just gives him this great amount of survival, making him almost immortal. But this time, he might actually end up losing his life, because Denjiro will end up cutting off his only remaining head, and this could bring Orochi down for good. With Kaido and Orochi out of the way, this could allow Wano to finally be free of the leadership of these two who have sought to poison the ground and bring all of this unhappiness and weariness to the inhabitants of Wano. And so friends, this is all the information we have so far about this upcoming chapter. Now there's still a lot that could still come out and be leaked later in the week, and once we get that information, we will be sure to come back and talk about every single thing with you in another video. So perhaps we'll get to see a little more setup in this fight between Luffy and Kaido with this new chapter, and we'll also get to see that for Momo to have his chance where he can finally move the island to safety. Now we might not actually see Kaido's defeat because Oda may be planning a much larger event when this finally occurs. And plus, this may also be really Orochi's moment to be taken down, and we'll have Kaido come in the next coming chapters. It's also pretty likely that when Kaido is brought down, this could be combined with the arrival of Zunisha and the Marine in Wano, because when this happens, we'll have a lot more information about Gear 5th and everything else with Joy Boy related. And when Zunisha finally does arrive, we could see an amazing info dump where Zunisha gives out information on Momonosuke and about the drums that Luffy was beating from his heart, and so many more things we can only hope to learn. Another interesting thing that could happen is once we see Zunisha giving off his story and sharing what happened with Joy Boy, that could be juxtaposed against the Gorosei, who also seem to have quite a bit of information on this mysterious and legendary devil fruit that has recently awakened. Of course, we don't really know who might actually have the upper hand in the information game. I mean, the Gorosei have a wealth of knowledge that we really haven't even gone a tiny bit into. But of course, Zunisha was there and lived with Joy Boy and could have even been a much bigger partner than we've even been led to believe. So with Zunisha coming into the picture, we may get a fuller picture about who Nika is, who Joy Boy is, and all of the connections between these great characters. So ultimately, to even hear more truth and not just spun by the Gorosei, it may be Zunisha that really is gonna bring us all of this great new stuff. But for now, it still might take some chapters before they show up in Onigashima, and even before that, we have to see how all these great fights run out. But for now, let us know what you think about it. If Denjiro takes out Orochi, do you think this is the final time we see Orochi, or will we see yet another return of this dastardly fiend? Also, do you think Momo's gonna finally have his moment of or hour of glory? And if so, what do you think is gonna be the thing that pushes him over and makes him capable of moving this island? Let us know in the comments below. So with all that said, friends, I want to thank you so much for watching the video until the very end. Make sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like as you head out to take on the rest of your day. Hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.